All right, we're here to talk about one of my favorite things, which is a morning routine. How to really create a morning routine to set you and your day up for success. I actually love, even hearing the word morning routine gets me excited. I love having a morning routine. I've had people ask me over the years because I talk about it on my social media or I share it with people sometimes. And sometimes I'll do posts about me doing my gratitude and things. And I've had people reach out to me and ask me, like, I'm trying to get more consistent with a morning routine. I'm trying to find what works. Like, what do you do? So I wanted to share on this, quick episode of what I do for my morning routine, give you some ideas, maybe what you can incorporate into yours, and also why it can be so important. I would say, probably, gosh, I should look back. I've probably been doing some type of morning routine for at least like 7 or so years. I'm thinking I started one even before, it was probably after Sawyer was born. So maybe like 6 years I've been like really consistent at doing it. Before that, I really didn't have one. And largely that it also, your routine is going to change depending upon your point in life. So before I had Sawyer, I didn't have to get up early and get my workout in and get my alone time in, right? Before I had kid, you could do it kind of whenever. I would work out later on at night, things like that. I feel like it becomes even more important and prevalent. Like either the busier you get, or if you do have kids, or, your schedule gets busier, it can be even more important. But then once I started my morning routine, I was obsessed with it. Like for me, I literally do get excited, and my morning routine comes with me. I carry it with me where I go. So when I travel, even when we go places as a family, when we go camping and things, I get up in the morning. I think I've talked about this a few times on the podcast when I'm talking about different health things, but it goes with me wherever I go. It's when I travel, it's a big part of it. So I can maintain that consistency. If we take vacations, usually I will try and do my morning routine most of the mornings, but then of course, some mornings I want to sleep in. For me, it's just a huge part of what I love to do. So for me, also, it's being able to get up and have that alone time and have that quiet time in the morning when nobody's awake yet. And I can really just think. So, and again, depending on if you get enough sleep, like what time you wake up at. Ideally, I'd be waking up, honestly, at like 5 o'clock because then I have even more time. Lately, I'll be honest, I've been staying up a little too late watching shows at night because that's the only time I can get my brain to completely like quiet is if I'm just watching a show. And so I'm getting up a little bit later in the morning, which is a little bit trickier. So ideally 5:30 I'm waking up, and I wake up, I get some water. Sometimes I have a pre-workout because I like to work out in the morning, and it's just kind of part of the routine that I really like. So it's waking up before everyone else is up and the house is still quiet and I can get that time to myself. And I've shared this before, like I thrive on some alone time. Like I need some of that quiet time where I can just sit and think because otherwise my head is always going. So I wake up, get my water, I get my under eye patches. I love my Frownies under eye patches where I can actually, like I just put them on and it feels so cooling and refreshing. It helps, especially if you look a little bit tired. That's part of my morning routine. And then I sit down on the couch and I do my journaling. So I have a journal. It's the Start Today journal. Rachel Hollis created this. I've been using it for years. I think I've talked about it before, but I still love it because at the beginning of, I think it lasts about 3 months, and you identify what are your top goals and the dreams that you have. And so you kind of do that work at the beginning, and then there's a prompt every single day. So the first thing I do, I start with 5 things I'm grateful for. And again, I've talked about gratitude before and how important this is to start your day with gratitude, because even if you had a crap day the day before, even if you are, you've had a rough week or a rough month, or even if you have things coming up that day that you are not looking forward to, when you can sit down and force yourself at sometimes to think of 5 things you are grateful for, you are already changing what your brain is looking at, right? Like what you see, what you look for, you will find. What you focus on expands. Where your energy where attention goes, your energy is going to flow. All of those different sayings. And so if we can find those things that we're grateful for in the morning, then you are intentionally looking and seeking out more opportunities throughout the day. And there's science behind it. I think it's so important. And sometimes, you can write, like, especially if you're on vacation. Oh my gosh, it's so easy. Oh, I'm so grateful for the sunset. I'm so grateful for the ocean waves. I'm so grateful for whatever it might be. And when things are really hard, it can be a little bit harder, but that's when it's even more important. I'm so grateful for this quiet morning. I'm so grateful for this cup of coffee. I'm so grateful for my family, right? So I always start with 5 things that I'm grateful for. Then I move into my 10 dreams written as if they've already happened. Now, again, that's part of the prompt from this Start Today journal, which they stopped making them. And then I think from what I read, I think they might have started making them again, but I just love them. So I already had identified these 10 things based on the work that I did earlier in the journal, where you go, think of yourself 10 years from now and what were things would you have loved to achieve? So, personally, professionally, financially, all of these things. And then you narrow it down into 10 dreams that are going to help you become the version of that person, but you write them as if they've already happened. And this is the really powerful part. And we've talked about I am statements on here before. So instead of saying like I'm going to, right, which seems very like future forward, you write it like it's now. And this really goes heavily with my word of the year, embody, this year, right, where we are showing up as that person now. So I'm writing these 10 dreams if they've already happened. So for example, you might write like I am a TEDx speaker, or maybe yours is like I am a top rated podcast host, or I am a CEO, or it might be like I'm an amazing mom, right? So you're writing it as if it's happening right now. So I do that next. And then, the next part, those pretty much always happen. Those always come with me. And then the next thing that I do as part of my morning routine, sometimes I do some additional journaling. So I just do free flow journaling. I don't personally do any prompts. I know there's different tools and things out there that you can get a prompt and it kind of prompts you every day for a journal. I just kind of do what's on my brain. I do free flow, free flow journaling. So whatever I need to get, especially if I'm feeling anxious that day or overwhelmed or excited, whatever extreme emotion you're feeling, if you can just get it out and do, the stream of consciousness writing where you don't limit yourself, you don't go back and like reread it while you're writing it, you don't, adjust or question or whatever, feel anything and decide to like pivot. You just literally write and you just keep writing. I like to do that and just kind of see what comes. And the other thing is, again, we're trying to get, especially if you have like emotion stuck in your body of anger, frustration, excitement, whatever it is, we're trying to kind of get that out onto the paper. So usually I will do some type of journaling, and it kind of depends on how early I got up. If I do a little bit more, if I do a little bit less. And then usually I look at my planner. Now the struggle in here, and to be totally honest, this is something I'm really working on changing in my morning routine, is I've noticed scope creep. We use that in corporate a lot when we're talking about like people, the scope of the project changing, but I'm going to use it in terms of this. I just kind of came up with that. I think it's kind of funny. But my scope creep starts to happen where I might actually pull up my phone and, a bad habit I've started is looking at social media in the morning. And I'm going to say, don't do that as part of your morning routine, mostly because it can just suck you in and it can really change the energy of your day. So that is a habit that I'm really working to get out of and not looking at my social media. But sometimes I like to just look at and plan for what my day has ahead. So I'll look at my calendar, I'll pull that up, and then I'll pull out my planner that I'm obsessed with, and I'll write what meetings I'll have that day. And then as part of my planner, it also has what are my top main 3 things I want to get done that day. So of course I have a to-do list like all of you that is forever long. I'm really trying to focus on those top 3 things to get done that day. So I like to do this because it really helps give me direction for my day. And also, if you're like me, just something to keep in mind is sometimes I can sit there for too long then because I get sucked into my email or I'm, thinking about all the things for the day. Because the next part of my routine is my workout. And so what I've noticed is sometimes when I get that scope creep and I spend too much time now planning for my day, is I sit on that couch a little too long and then I don't get down for my workout. And then of course that just like compounds because then we have to get Sawyer up for school and we've got to get his lunch packed and we've got to get his breakfast made and snacks and all that. So just based on experience, make sure you kind of time out how much time you need for all these things. So then the last part of that morning routine is that workout. And honestly, this is so important for me because this is my like de-stressor. And when I don't get a workout in the morning, I just get crabby, to be totally honest. Like I'm just crabby. Sometimes it's more of an intense workout. I usually follow a certain routine. And again, I usually take a day or 2 off on the weekend. But when I don't have that workout in, it feels so frustrating. I just feel like my whole day is thrown off. And I feel so much better when I can get that. So those are kind of like the 5 things that I do every morning. So we've got the gratitude, the 10 dreams as if they already happened, some type of journaling. Sometimes it's longer or shorter, looking at and kind of looking at my planner for the day, and then the workout. Those 5 things. And sometimes, again, if I have more time, I can spend a little more time on those. And sometimes, I can't do all of them, but that's the goal for me. And I just feel like that's the thing. And also sometimes if I have a chance, I try and read a couple pages of a book. So part of my morning routine when I have time is reading 10 pages of a like self-development or professional development book. And that's the routine that I love. Honestly, I have times and seasons of my life where I'm like, oh, maybe I just want it to be slower, or I need to do it quicker or faster, but that's something you just figure out. And so I just wanted to share that with you and also have you think, what do you need in the morning? Because I know sometimes I look at other people's morning routines and I go, oh, I should be doing that, or I should be doing this. And in reality, it might not be realistic for you, because we also don't want you getting up at 3 a.m. and not having enough sleep. So you have to find what works for you. But what I find is I like to just see like what other people do in the morning so that I can kind of get this intel, and then I can try it on and I can see what works for me and I can toss what doesn't. And so hopefully this helped give you some ideas. If we have a chance, I also do cold plunging in the morning. We've shared that before on a previous episode. You can check out that episode that Jake and I did on these different like health hacks that we do. But the cold plunging honestly takes like 3 minutes to do. So that's like a quick thing that we'll do sometimes in the morning as well. So really think about, what do you need in the morning? For you, maybe you need a slower pace. Maybe you really just need to get up and read and journal to start your day. Or maybe you're someone who's like, "Ooh, I need to hit it hard. I need to get like a really good workout in, get things moving. And I don't need that slow time." So really think about what you need. But what this does is it's helping your body get ready for the day. And it's something that you can consistently do, that okay, this is going to get me in this state. We talk about, for peak performance, like getting yourself into the state. We talk about before you're going to an important meeting, or you go to present, or you go to speak, or you go to, do something, that we need to get our mind and our body in peak state. And we do that by creating a consistent cue and a trigger to our body, like, ooh, it's go time. It's the same reason why athletes and, things like that, like they have their routine that they do, because your body and your mind are getting aligned to know, hey, it's go time. And so if you're waking up every single morning, like I used to say, the hot mess express, where you're just like flailing all over and you don't have any sort of consistency, your body is sort of in this like fight or flight state. So we're trying to get into this peak state where it's like, no matter what your emotions and your mind are telling you of like, oh, I'm having a bad day or whatever it is, it's like, it doesn't matter. This is what we do. And all of a sudden now it's like, okay, we've got this. So that's one of the reasons why it can really help you set your day up for success, is because it's the thing that goes with you. It's the thing that lets you know, like, hey, she means business, he means business. It's time to go. It's time to act. It's time to get my, shit together and do the thing, no matter how I might feel about it. It's really creating that discipline, right? Because that's a big thing too, motivation versus discipline. We are not always going to be motivated. Most of the time I am motivated to do my morning routine because I love it, but I'm not always. There are certain pieces where I'm like, oh, I sat on the couch too long, now I don't want to do my workout. But discipline is the thing. And that's the same thing then if you have any sort of goals that you have for yourself. You are not always going to be motivated, but if you can build that muscle of discipline, that when I say go, we go, like you're saying all this to yourself, like when I say go, we do the thing. You are teaching yourself that you can trust yourself and that you can follow through on these things. And again, this is not to say that you might have a morning where you genuinely need to sleep in. Like, listen to your body. Don't just listen to the people who are like, oh, I'll get up no matter what. Like, that actually can have the reverse effect, right? But the majority of the time, if we're being consistent with this routine, and then we're listening to our body and we're knowing, ooh, I need a little more time to chill, or I need a little more time to sleep. But this is the thing. This is the thing that's going to help set your day up for success. So try these things on. Let me know what you're trying to do your morning routine. I would love to hear, is there anything that you do in your morning routine that you love, that you feel like really helps you out? Because share it so that we can share it out with everyone else listening and they can try it out too. Try these things out. Let me know how it goes.